Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. I am inside the Grand Canyon, as you can see, and I am completely alone. I told you guys a while ago that I want to practice mountain climbing so that I can eventually climb Mount Everest, and I told you that I want to start practicing here in the Grand Canyon, which probably seems a little bit counterintuitive to practice mountain climbing by walking into a hole. But I need to walk back out of that hole. I think that's going to be the practice. The reason I'm starting this video here rather than at the start of the vlog is because I know it will get more attention if I start the video here than if I did it in my car. So we're gonna go jump back in time and hopefully you guys just like don't click away. Good morning, everybody. We have made it to the Grand Canyon. You can see that the ice on the back of my window is frozen, but because the sun is in front of us right now, all of that has turned to liquid, which is really just my way of letting you guys know that it gets below freezing here. Even though we are in the desert, it still gets real fucking cold. During the day, it's quite a bit warmer, but we will need to worry about sub-zero temperatures tonight. The shuttle taking us to the entrance of the Grand Canyon appears in about an hour. The place that I'm parked right now is called the Back Country Office. They let you park overnight. So when you get here and you want to go in the Grand Canyon, you just pull into the parking lot. They'll let you sit your car here. You're able to be here for up to 7 days. Now, entering the Grand Canyon does cost money. It costs $35 per vehicle, unless you have one of the annual passes. This costs $80. And then once you get this, you're able to go into most of the national parks for free. So I didn't need to pay anything this time, but if you come here, it's $35. That means you're paying about $5 a night to be able to park here for a week. It's kind of surprising when you get here because this is a national park, but there's so many buildings. There's literally a train station that comes through here. There's parks and all kinds of stuff. Just because this is such a huge national park, there's massive infrastructure around it. Seriously, railroads just on the edge of the Grand Canyon. Ladies and gentlemen, if I can focus your attention to the right, that's where we're going today. Here we go. Today, our objective is simple. We are going to hike down into the very bottom of the Grand Canyon where the Colorado River is cutting across it. We're gonna set up our camera, we're gonna shoot the stars, camp for the night, and then hike back up. Oh, there's little donkeys down there. No, I have heard that. There are people that live down there, so the US Post Office, they still need to get mail to them, and they use like donkeys, actually. I have heard that. It's really cool to see them. God, I'm getting really fucking nervous. There is one more thing I want to talk to you guys about before we get started. I told you guys that it costs $35 to get into the Grand Canyon, but that is just the vehicle fee. If you want to drive your vehicle into the Grand Canyon, you pay $35 no matter what. But if you want to camp at the bottom of the Grand Canyon, you need a special permit. This is given out via a lottery. I told you this place is super popular. There's tons of people that come here. If they let everybody that wanted to go camping camp, it would be trashed. So they have a lottery system. It costs $10 to throw your name into the pot, and there is no guarantee that you'll even get accepted into the lottery. But we're doing this in November. That's why it's really cold outside, because there's less people trying to camp in the Grand Canyon, so there's less competition for the permit itself. Once you get the permit, you need to pay an additional $15 just for the campsite. So $10 for the lottery, $15 for the campsite, $35 for the car. You will be paying about $55 to be able to do what I do, just in permits to be able to access the Grand Canyon. With all of that said, I think it is time to start getting our gear and heading out. Now, if you've ever seen somebody do a hiking vlog before, they'll spend like fucking 10 minutes talking about all of their gear and why they need it. We're not gonna do that. I'll talk about the gear as we need it, but just so you know, I've got a backpack with stuff in it. There is, however, one thing we need to do before we head out. We need to have some caffeine. I've got food packed up, drinks, water, all of that stuff. I just want to start the day with an ice cold Dr. Pepper. I'm not sponsored, regretfully. Someday, maybe. No, actually, companies like this, I don't think I've ever seen a Dr. Pepper sponsorship on YouTube or a Coke sponsorship. Everybody knows about Dr. Pepper. Seeing me drink Dr. Pepper isn't going to make you drink Dr. Pepper. I don't think I'm ever going to get sponsored. That is where we are going. It is a very long hike, but at least the first half of it is downhill, so it should be easier. Tomorrow is where the real struggle is going to happen. I have a little bit of food, I have a little bit of water, I have a tent. It is below freezing. There is snow around here. I moved to a spot where there's no snow, but it gets below freezing at night, so that might be a challenge. But again, if I want this to be good practice for Mount Everest, I need to get used to the cold. Fuck. Okay. Now, I told you guys we would talk about gear as we start using it. There's two pieces that I want to talk about right now. First is my water bladder. This is basically just a sack with water in it with a straw attached. And there's not really a good way for me to describe this, but it's got a nipple at the end. You pinch this and you suck and then water comes out. It is much more efficient than carrying like a water bottle, because a water bottle, you need to open up your pack, you need to put it down, you need to get the water bottle out. And then as you drink water, your water bottle is just full of empty air that's taking up space. A sack with water in it, it will shrink as you drink the water. So that's much better. The second piece of gear that I want to talk about is this camera right here. Drones are expressly forbidden in national parks. You are not allowed to fly a drone through here. But this is kind of the next thing. It's a camera on a stick. I am going to look like an absolute dumbass to anybody else on the trail, but this is voice controlled, so I can just tell it to start recording or stop recording. Actually, that says this. Start recording. Bitch ass, come on. Start recording. Start recording. Okay, well, maybe sometimes it works. I do have a special treat in this water bottle right here, but we'll talk about that later once we actually make it to the bottom. Let's fucking go. Just a sec. This is a good opportunity to test, make sure it can actually hear me. Start recording. Hey, it worked. Okay. It is recording now. Yeah, you can see the snow over there. Anywhere that is not directly in the sun will be very cold. It's not as cold as I thought it would be. Hopefully it doesn't get too hot once we get down into the sun. I realized in hindsight that I definitely should have rinsed this before I filled it up and used it, because it tastes like plastic. God, this is gorgeous. And also, for the people wondering, yes, I'm hiking this entire thing in Walmart shoes. This place is called the Ooh Ah Point. And I understand why. Of course, people have scratched their names into the rock. Clip from 1973. You know, as I walk, I'm beginning to realize this might not be good practice for Mount Everest, on top of the fact that we're going down. But I don't think Mount Everest has paved trails like this. This would be much harder on that stuff than it is on this. We're just gonna call this hike conditioning. Getting used to carrying a pack, rationing your food, camping. This is conditioning. I did bring some snacks. Granola bars. Whoa. Well, I have the impression this is sort of what standing on the top of Everest would feel like.
We went with them and we hadn't seen them. Well, we had seen them once since we left Austin. Just to live there.
Yeah, it is just above freezing. It is a little bit warmer now that we're out in the sun. I see some small lines in the sand, so I think our path takes us down through there. People complained when I was at Voyager National Park that they didn't like watching me just walk through a forest. Is this better? You know what I just remembered? I think I left my heated seats on this morning. I really hope my car does not go up in flames over the next like 36 hours while I'm away. Because I left my blanket on the seat to where there's not like ventilation. It's just all of that heat being... Hopefully I have a car when we get back. This seems like a pretty good spot to take a break and charge the cameras. Oh God, it feels great taking this off your back. Whew. Oh fuck, I think I accidentally scratched my camera lens. Oh no. Now I know that there's like maybe a 10% chance that I accidentally drop this camera somewhere along the line and lose all of the footage. So I brought this guy. This is the Insta360 something or another. What it lets me do is it lets me transfer the footage from this camera onto an SD card so that if I do accidentally drop the camera, all of the footage isn't gone. Only a small portion of it will be. You take the camera, you stick it on the pod, you take the pod, you stick it in like a battery pack and it will start transferring the footage. This is probably a good time to talk to you guys about what is in the special container. This, just that con. I shook it up a lot trying to hike down here, so it's probably really compressed. It might explode when I open this. I'm glad I'm recording. Motherfucker, open. There we go. Oof. A little bit of a pop. Dr. Pepper. Now, all of the signs when I was up there said that you need to watch your electrolyte intake because something or another. And they said you should eat salty foods. I didn't have any salty foods. I had rice, but I do have this can of chicken. I'm going to use this rock and see if I can't pry it open. There we go. Yes, good rock. And now we have chicken. I'm pretty sure this is salty. Dr. Pepper and chicken. Is there another hiking channel out there you can find that would do this? Now, there are strict rules about leaving no trace, so we need to carry all of our garbage with us, obviously. But the backpack that I got had this little zip-up pouch. I'm not sure what it's for, but I'm going to use it to store my trash. Yeah. Boom. Okay, let's get moving. It's getting cold. Now at least most of this footage is backed up, so if I lose the camera, the whole thing is not ruined. I can just switch to using the 360 camera. I'm pissed that I scratched the lens. God, those things are so easy to scratch. Yeah, so we are cutting across through there. You guys don't know how great it is to be able to use voice commands to be able to control that thing. I was worried that it would be so high up I'd have to like take my backpack off, start recording, walk a couple steps, take my backpack off, stop recording, put my backpack... No, being able to do this with my voice is super nifty. Thank you, Insta360. Great feature. The heating pads in my car do have temperature sensors, so they should cut current if they get too hot, and that's how they keep themselves from... Hopefully my car will be fine. This one is called Skeleton Point. And it looks like we're going down there. Hey, you can see the Colorado River. That's our goal. That's where we're going. You can see all of the switchbacks we're gonna have to go down right there. Just joop, 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 joop. But I see the Colorado River. Okay, I'm shaking a little bit. I'm not afraid of heights, it's just really high. Just for some context for you guys, once we get to the river down there, we will have dropped about 5,000 feet. That means that we need to climb 5,000 feet tomorrow. God damn it, this is something else. I like how you can see the rocks are red right here, but they're white once you get lower. Like you can see like the layers of strata in the rock. Leave no trace, my fucking ass. We are steadily getting closer to the bottom. Yeah, this is a good idea. This is much easier than having to take my bag off and pull out a water bottle. Good morning. Perfect. You too. Do you guys work with the post office? I've heard that the post office uses the mules to take mail up and down. Yes?
Yeah, that's us.
Cool.
In the Amazon commercial.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's us.
Super cool. Everybody that passed along the trail that's coming up is just exhausted, and they still have so much more to go. That'll be us tomorrow. I see a couple buildings down there with a solar panel on top. I wonder if they'll have a map or just like something I can look at to figure out where I'm supposed to go. You know, I thought it would look silly having this little camera sticking up from my backpack, but so many people that I've passed have complimented me and said that it's a great idea and that they wish that they did it themselves. I feel great with this camera now. It's funny, in my head this was supposed to be like a drones aren't allowed, so this is the next best thing. But I'm short, so I'm pretty sure that's the same vantage point as just like a normal person holding a camera. I believe that this is a map right here that I can use to figure out where oh, they've also got an elevation map. So this is where we started, way up here. We're down here now. There's a little bit more to go. And by a little bit, I mean like 1,000 fucking feet. Normally I would just piss on a bush somewhere, but I feel like that's a little bit more frowned on here. Oh God. Oh. Yeah, it's a little rancid. Okay, I'm not even sure if you guys can see this. Let me see if I can get up a little bit taller. We started here, we walked all the way down. Now we're here. We're gonna go a little bit farther, get to the river, drink some river water, do river fun stuff. But a bunch of this stuff is actually closed because they're doing winter renovations or whatever. So we need to hike back up and then come along over here to get to the campsite. So we will not be camping on the Colorado River, but we will see it. So when we are coming back up, we go that way into the campground and this way to the river. Hey, I can see the river, cool. Is that trail us? Is that where we're going? Probably, honestly. This is just insane. That cliff right there, that looks like a pretty good spot to stop and rest. Fucking woof. Make sure everything stays charged up. So the side that we're on right now is called the South Rim, because if you look at it on a map, we're on the south side. That over there is the North Rim. And I think there's a bridge across the Colorado River, so you can go straight from the South Rim all the way up to the North Rim. We're not doing that today, though.
Can't see my face anyway, I'm not gonna.
There you go.
Thank you.
Of course. Okay.
Hike back. Are you heading back up? Or
I'm heading down to the river.
Oh wow, okay, good luck.
Thank you. God, I feel silly. My joints are starting to hurt, and all I've done is go downhill so far. Conditioning, remember, that's what this is. I can definitely see why this would be miserable to do in the summer. It's super brittle. It comes apart like...
Yeah, some layers are so brittle and others are rock solid. And
Yeah. Yeah, you just like touch it and parts of it start falling off. Makes a little bit more sense how the river was able to chop through this part of it at least. I see it. That's the bridge across the river. Like, you look at all this and you wonder how it's possible that a river cut through all of this rock. And you start to wonder, why don't other rivers look like this? Why doesn't the Mississippi River look like this? Why doesn't the Nile River look like this? And the answer is because this is old. This is not millions of years old. This is not tens of millions of years. This is not hundreds of millions of years. This is thousands of millions of years. This river, this is the Colorado River, this has been cutting through this rock since almost the time that liquid water formed on the planet. And also the rock is pretty brittle. Like, it's actually kind of crazy when you think about it. We have had a lot of stuff happen on this planet in the 4 billion years that it's been here. We've had asteroids hit, we've had continents break up and shift and collide and earthquakes. We've had so much stuff. But this river has not stopped. Through all of that, this river has kept working. Like an asteroid hit Earth, killed all of the dinosaurs, and this river didn't change. Pangea broke apart into 7 different continents, and this river did not change. We are so close. It looks really teal. So you guys know how we're not supposed to feed wildlife? We feed the mules, and the mules walk on the path and they shit, and then we're basically feeding the wildlife. Like, I've seen dogs eat crap before. We are so close, and I am dreading the walk back up. Because our campsite is way up there. A ranger passed by a second ago and asked where I was headed. I told her, and she said, yeah, you probably won't get to your campsite until after dark. That means we've got to hike this at night. I thought I'd been moving at a pretty quick pace, but I know that you go slower going uphill than you do downhill, and I'm already exhausted, so it's probably going to be much slower. My 360 camera is dead. In order for the voice commands to work, it needs to be powered on. So it's basically just always listening, which means it's always got the sensors running. It kills battery pretty quickly. That's why I've been stopping to charge it, but it's dead now. So that means you guys get to watch this with this camera. Okay, actually, now that I'm closer, it does look pretty clear. I don't know why it looks turquoise, but I can see the rocks at the bottom. Well, check this out. We got a fucking tunnel. Oh, I guess it was like a couple feet of tunnel. So I don't think that they hiked all of this material down. I'm pretty sure they brought it on boats. We are almost to the bottom. Well, would you look at that? They've got drinking water. Oh. I think they've also got a floaty. Yeah, so if somebody like gets lost in the river, they can go catch them. This is the campground that I wanted to stay at. We're here. We just go a little farther up and there's a campsite, but that's not where I got my permit to. My permit is way up fucking there. So do not swim in the Colorado River. You could drown due to extremely dangerous currents and extremely cold water temperatures. Yep, it smells like fish. Ladies and gentlemen, we have officially hiked to the bottom of the Grand Canyon. Now, for anybody that's new here, I do this thing on my channel where I drink river water and then I get really sick. I'm gonna do that today. I know that there's drinking water just up there. We're just gonna do this once. My shirt is soaking wet. Now, I brought along a special tool just for this. Hello, water filtration straw. Now, I've had really bad luck with these straws before. I drink from water, it's supposed to filter it, and then I get sick the next day. But luckily for you guys, I am a masochist with a camera, so I need a better vantage point. Here we go, boys and girls. Let's drink some ice cold Colorado river water. It actually tastes fine. It doesn't taste fishy at all. You would think that it would still taste like the river, but it doesn't. I might still get sick. There could still be like microorganisms, but I'm genuinely impressed. I think this thing works pretty well. Now, it's time for some more food. I don't like that the bottom of my backpack is wet, and I don't know why. Please tell me my bladder didn't explode. No, it doesn't have any holes. That's good. Well, regardless, we are gonna have some oatmeal. I'm gonna see if I can use my water bladder to water my oatmeal. Oh, hey, that's working pretty well. Cool. Do you guys remember that joke I made at the beginning of the video where I said that this is the opposite of climbing Everest because we're just walking into a hole? Well, now we need to walk out of the hole, and this will be probably analogous to mountain climbing. This is the reason I brought the Dr. Pepper. Am I the first person to drink Dr. Pepper at the bottom of the Grand Canyon? Probably not, but I imagine I'm one of the first. It's going flat. People online, they were telling me that I should fill my water skin with Dr. Pepper, but as I walked around, the pressure from the gas would cause the whole thing to just explode in my backpack. You need something firm for carbonated drinks. Okay.
All right, man. You heading up?
Yes, I'm heading up.
All right.
My campsite is up way over there because that's the one that I got the permit for. No, apparently that guy, he's an investor. We spent like the whole time talking about he lives in Dubai. Also, I learned from that guy, the world record for the Grand Canyon. Some guy went from the South Rim all the way up to the North Rim and back in 6 hours. Absolutely insane. He's an American too. See, because my camera is on a stick, you guys can see over the railing when I can't. Look at that. You guys only saw him on camera for like a second because my cameras were charging while we were sitting there, but we sat there talking for like an hour. I don't know if you guys will fit in the tunnel. Hey, I think you guys fit in the tunnel. And the uphill climb begins. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe they bring the supplies by a helicopter. Sounds way more expensive than using a boat. Okay, yeah, jacket's coming off. Hello again.
Atta boy. Enjoy it. Need anything?
No, I'm good.
All right, man.
Okay, I know that he's ahead of me now, so I'm gonna try to keep pace with him. Yeah, I'm gonna need a lot more water than I did on the way down. How do people on Everest keep their water from freezing? On the next hike, I'm gonna get a sweatband so the sweat doesn't pull into my eyes. It stings a little. Until that, I'll just be using a cloth. I should have filled this up down there with the drinking water. I forgot. I'm pretty sure I've got enough. Yeah, I'm taking a lot more breaks on the way up. My watch says I've only burned 1,000 calories on this entire hike. I think it's a fucking liar. I'm pretty sure this like divot in the ground is just caused by the mule hooves because they walk in the same place every day. I'm not shooting as many clips on the way up because it takes extra energy to talk instead of breathe.
Yeah, I'm gonna hand this back to you.
Yeah.
So from right here, you have to hike back up to the top of the tepees, which is up there. You kind of see the little like solar panel up there.
Yeah.
You go around and to the top of that. From that section, Tonto's obviously like going, it's like 4 miles, but it's mostly flat.
Yeah.
A couple ups and downs, not much. Good trail. It just undulates a lot.
I think that's the third ranger I've seen. I think that they just send rangers up and down here to make sure that if somebody like broke their leg, they're not gonna die. Because we're doing all of this work to get to the campsite today, it means that the hike out of here tomorrow will be marginally easier. Yeah, my joke earlier about this being the opposite of mountain climbing was fucking stupid. It is probably worth noting that people who actually do mountain climbing, they don't do it all in one day. They go up a little bit, acclimate, maybe come back down, go up a little bit, come back. It's like a words. It's words. It's funny when you're walking down, you gotta notice all of the scenery. You gotta pay attention to stuff. Everything looks gorgeous. When you're walking up, you're just looking straight down, trying to put one foot in front of the other. You don't really gotta notice where you're walking when you're trying to climb 5,000 feet. I feel like I skipped over an important part. There are people that live down there. The helicopter you saw carrying supplies, they're building shit. That's why the mules are here. That's why the post office delivers to them, because the post office will deliver to you no matter where you live. That's like their fucking motto. They will bring fucking mules to you if that's what's necessary. We made it back to the site with the outhouses.
There's ice on top on the other side, so I gotta go slow at first.
Okay, we started here, went down here. We need to go on this trail. He says that's like 4.5 miles and a whole bunch of elevation. Fun. Cool. Have a good day. He said the sign for the trail is small and we should watch out for it. Oh, I think that's it. I sure hope so. Now is probably a good time to talk about scorpions and rattlesnakes, and possibly tarantulas. We probably won't have to worry about snakes because it's really cold outside and they're cold-blooded. They're not just gonna be chilling over here. Scorpions are little bitches, but they're not lethal. In the morning, we're just gonna have to shake our shoes out to make sure they didn't crawl inside our shoes. Tarantulas are just fur balls. They look scary, but they're fine. Yeah, this trail is a lot less developed. I imagine this is what just walking in the desert feels like. I'm grateful it is mostly flat. This, however, is something that we need to watch out for, especially as it gets darker. That would not be fun to fall into. I really do hope I picked the right trail. I've not seen anybody else on this trail yet. It's probably a good time to go over some of the safety equipment I have, you know, like just in case. I believe this has a whistle. So, I can whistle at people. I have my water jug. I have a headlight with the strobe light so that if I need to be rescued, they can like see me because I'm flashing at them. I'm sure in the comments of this video, after everybody has got done commenting, criticizing my shoe choice, next they're gonna criticize me for wearing jeans on a hike like this. And I still absolutely stand by it. Like, jeans are fucking great. I'm not worried about something like snapping at my ankles or like cactuses, or jeans are great. Actually, assuming this is the right trail, I'm really glad we went on this because you see a lot more life and fauna than you did over there. Over there, it's just like breathtaking views of the mountains. You actually feel like you're walking through the desert on this trail. Again, assuming that this is the right trail. I could walk a trail like this for hours. This is so nice. This right here is a yucca plant. I'm pretty sure this is the state plant of New Mexico. Growing up in New Mexico, it's basically a rite of passage to have one of your kids fall over and end up having a face full of cactus needles. Like every single person that has grown up in New Mexico has that experience. Oh, and these ones are the worst. I realized that for a lot of these things, I don't actually need to stop to charge them up. I can just put them in a bag, put them in my bag, and then charge them from here. As long as the camera I'm using has a charge, we're good. Really hoping I picked the right trail. Yeah, I don't see any campgrounds. Do you know how wild it is? This is one of the most popular natural parks in the world, and I have all of this to myself. I am completely alone. The amount that I still need to climb tomorrow is just daunting. I'm proud of myself though. We went pretty high. Like you can see down there is the Colorado River. I did pretty good today. Okay, we are entering the shadow of the canyon. And I don't think we will see sunlight again after this. Yeah, that's just daunting. That's what we've got to do tomorrow. But being in the shade means that it's probably easier on the cameras because they don't need to expose for basically direct sunlight. There is a lot more foliage. This must be a river because you can see all kinds of like actually green plants. Oh yeah, there's actual liquid water. I'm not drinking that. This is gonna sound silly, but I think it's actually I think it's actually easier on my body to climb uphill than it is to climb downhill. Climbing uphill is exhausting, obviously, but climbing downhill, you're constantly putting your entire weight on your joints. My joints don't hurt right now. They did when we were hiking down. Your steps are a lot more slow and methodical. It's not just stomp, 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 stomp. Yeah, I don't see any campsites. Really fucking hoping I picked the right path. Worst case scenario, I could set up my tent anywhere. It's illegal and I'll be fined or whatever, but I can do it. Actually, I don't know if there would even be consequences. I'm not sure if anybody would even see me. I'm not sure if there's anybody at all. Oh, I just heard a wolf or a coyote. Those are another thing you don't need to worry about. Coyotes are basically puppies. I can see a whole bunch of caves on this side of the strata. Do you know how cool it would be to be a fucking rock climber and go rappel up into there and see what the cave actually looks like? Set up a tent inside the cave. It's also just wild to think that I climbed down from that. This water is actually flowing. I'm pretty sure this is snow runoff. Yeah, see, like I could put up a tent right here. We're gonna remember this. I'll go a couple more miles. If I don't see the campground, we'll come back and we'll set the tent up here. There's not any cactuses, so that's good. Dude, yucca plants are so fucking cool. Look at that thing. It's like a tree. It's looking a little yellow. Hey, I can see the moon. There's another cave. They've been running helicopters all day. I see people. Maybe they've got a map. Well, they're actually really far ahead of me, so I'm just gonna assume that I'm going the right direction. Whoa. Yeah, very brittle. I can break it off with my finger. I understand how water was able to do this. Honestly, touching this, feeling the rock. I swear, every time I take a corner, I'm just awestruck. God damn. I do want to take a sec to appreciate this fucking watch. I've talked about this before. This is the TicWatch Pro 5 something or another. The battery life on this thing is absolutely ridiculous. I've had this tracking my activities since we started this, like 15 miles ago. We've been doing this for 6 hours. It's tracked GPS, steps, altitude, all of the things. It still has 86% left. The battery life on this thing is ridiculous. The watch I had just before this one, the Samsung Galaxy Watch 5, it would be dead. Like, it would not be able to do what I'm doing right now. It would be dead. They're not sponsoring this video. It's just a cool watch. I see things that might be the campsite. I see like 2 buildings and some orange. Orange is the color of tents, which is actually kind of odd when you think about it. I've had this problem before where you have a tent that is so bright and so obnoxious, everybody can see it and they want you off their land. I don't know why there's not more camo, more like dark green, dark blue tents. I'm sure they exist, but bright greens, bright oranges, those tend to be pretty common and I don't know why. I say that owning a bright orange tent, so. I think for urban camping, if you're gonna be camping in like civilization, a darker color is good. But honestly, I think if you're camping in a place like this, you want to be able to be seen. If you need to use like your tent as like a flag to flag somebody down, I think brighter colors are better for situations like this. I was reading on their website earlier, if you are down here and you get hurt, like you break your leg or something, the helicopters that we saw earlier, those will come and they will airlift you up to the top to the clinic, completely free. It's paid for by the taxpayer. They say that any ambulances or like auxiliary stuff, like outside of just moving you from the canyon to the clinic, is on you, but rescue operations are paid by the taxpayer. I'm proud of that. As a libertarian, I'm proud of that. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
I thought it was the campsite, but now that I'm getting closer, it looks more industrious.
Some of the best hikers I've ever hiked with. I don't know if it's the food up there, the elevation.
I know over in like BC in the western part, they got a lot of climbing they can do. And oh, we got a hiker coming up.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
This is the way to the Gardens campground, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Cool. I just picked a direction, forgot my map. Thank you guys so much.
You're all good.
Okay, but then how in the world did those get down here? Because I doubt they came on a helicopter. Well, based on the tracks, I'm assuming they drove the skid steers down. Yeah, we're definitely in a much more man-made part of the trail, which probably means we're getting close to the campground. It's getting a lot colder. Yeah, they fucking drove a skid steer through this. Hiking to the Colorado River and back in one day is not recommended due to long distance extreme heat and nearly 5,000 foot elevation change. If you think you have the fitness and expertise to attempt this extremely strenuous hike, please seek advice from a park ranger at the Backcountry Information Center. For all of the people that are in the comments saying that there's no way I can climb a mountain, I'm not fit enough, I got tired from kayaking, I just made this canyon my fucking bitch. If I had to guess, I would say this is probably the start of the campground. You can see that they're in the process of trying to get pipes all throughout the trails, get water down to the bottom. Okay, we are actually still 4.5 miles away from making this canyon my bitch, but we made like 80% of this canyon my bitch today. There's not enough signs. I don't know where the campground is. This does not feel like the way to the campground. Where is this campground? I was hoping I would be able to do the astrophotography just from right outside my tent, but all of this foliage means I'm probably gonna need to move. My legs do not want to move. I think this is gonna be our campsite. Oh, I'm sorry, camera. Welcome to the Corridor Campgrounds. Follow these steps to ensure a safe stay. First thing oh, it's so cold, my hands don't want to move. First thing we're gonna do, we're gonna put the permit in the box. Oh. Luckily for me, these poles are made out of steel, so my camera magnetically attaches to them. To save weight, I did not bring any like special cooking equipment, any butane fires, anything like that. We just have granola bars, oatmeal, and chicken. Yeah, my hands are not working. Now, as cool as it would be to see the night sky in my tent tonight, it is going to be below freezing, so putting the roof on just to keep heat in. This is what we have for food: granola bars, chicken, oatmeal. Now it should just inflate itself. And it does have a built-in pillow, so I guess that's nifty. The sleeping bag is also pretty big. I knew that it was going to be cold while we were camping up here, so I might have got some extra heavy stuff. What is this rated to? -5 degrees C, so wait. Okay, actually it says the danger range is -5 degrees C. So this is not meant for sub-zero temperature. We're gonna make it work. I brought my big expensive camera so that I can do astrophotography tonight, but honestly, it is gonna be so fucking hard to get my body out of this sleeping bag tonight when I'm already warm. Oh, this is down. I got a down sleeping bag. My jacket is definitely not rated for freezing temperatures. But I have chicken. Electrolytes. Protein. Oh, it's warm. Which is great in this context. Okay, this box has been here all day. Is it just a trash can? Is it for like bears? I don't think there's bears here. Okay, so I did go through most of my water. We need to remember to fill that up tomorrow. Actually, I'm gonna empty this here because again, it's going to be freezing tonight. I don't want this freezing solid and then cracking. And we can have the oatmeal for breakfast tomorrow once we get more water. Yeah, tomorrow morning is not gonna be fun because again, below freezing, and a lot of my clothes are wet from sweat, so we'll deal with tomorrow problems tomorrow. Let's just make sure we stay warm enough tonight. The sand has gotten through my shoes and my socks, so my feet are fucking filthy. I did not bring extra clothes because this fucking inflatable bed took up all my room. You've got to be fucking kidding me. I hear air. There's a fucking hole. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Damn. So this means we are not able to rely on the inflating portion of this. We just need to hope that it's got the foam and the insulation and the... It's gonna be fucking below freezing tonight. And we're basically sleeping on the ground. There is some good news though. The pillow part of the inflatable bed, that is a completely separate compartment. So I do still have a pillow tonight. Small wins. Now that I've had the opportunity to stop and slow down, my knees are hurting more than they were earlier. I did make sure that I spent like pretty solid money. I think this is like a $60 sleeping bag to make sure that this is something that can handle winter weather. So even with the bed popped, this should still work. I have a headlamp, but I know that if I point it directly at the camera, you guys stop being able to see anything. So I know how hard this was. So I am going to force myself to get out of bed and go do some astrophotography. I just need to wait a couple of hours for the sun to go down completely. I don't have a tripod either, so I'm gonna have to find some rocks to sit this on. I'm gonna sleep for a few hours, and I probably will wake up later tonight just because it's cold. When I wake up, we will take the camera out and we will go do some astrophotography. If I wake up. I want to test something. You guys were able to see with the red light from this, right? We're gonna need this on red so that we can preserve our night vision. The stars are out right now. This actually looks kind of trippy, but I can feel in my shoulders how exhausted I am from carrying that backpack. Can you guys even see me? It looks like I'm... Okay, yeah, I guess this works. I'm just trying to get as far enough away from the campsite so I can actually turn the real headlight on. There we go. I just need to get outside of the cover of these trees so I can actually shoot. You guys can't see it, but we've got a clear view of the sky. I just need to find a place to be able to set up my camera because I don't have a tripod. Now this kind of photography is much easier with a tripod because you can just point it where you want, but I think I'm going to use some of these rocks to try to like angle my camera where I want it to point. The first thing you do when you're doing astrophotography is you want to turn your ISO as high as you can, and you want to get your shutter speed pretty low, like maybe a second, just so you can make sure that your composition is good. You're also going to want to turn off autofocus because you're not able to see anything over there. You want to manually focus this as far forward as you can. And then we'll take a test shot just to test the composition. My headlight got in the way of that. Okay, let's give this another shot. Okay, I've got the touch display over here. You can see that you've got the mountain on this side. You can see all of the stars behind. Just like, let me make this a little bit darker. Okay, there you go. You can see we've got the mountain on this side right here. We've got all of the stars in the back. You can see a little bit of the Grand Canyon. This is actually a terrible shot. If you look at this on a cell phone, it'll be like super grainy, but this is just to make sure that the composition is good. We're gonna keep turning the camera, getting different shots, finding a composition that we like. Once you have a composition that you like, it's time to take the time way up to where it'll take like maybe 20, 30 seconds to take a full shot, and you wanna take the ISO as low as you can so it's not grainy. Let's try 225 second shutter time. Gotta turn this off, otherwise this won't work. Long press. I think long pressing it'll turn it off. There we go. Then that's gonna sit there for 20 seconds. I got some good shots. I'm gonna go find another spot to shoot. I wanna get that side of the Grand Canyon too. Okay, I got the camera set up and shoot. Okay, I was able to get some pretty good shots. I will overlay them on the screen so you guys can see what I was able to shoot, but I'm impressed that I was able to do this without a tripod. I just used rocks. Going back into the camp, I will have my red lights on just so I Can keep everybody's night vision. It would not be fun to accidentally walk into one of those. Here we go, back in the tent. It's actually not as cold as I thought it would be. Like, I've done astrophotography in much colder weather before. I just have this pointing up to generally illuminate the tent. The sun is coming up. Last night was rough. It wasn't as cold as I thought it would be, but I need wool socks because my feet... Also, the ground is really hard. I basically spent the whole night cuddled up in a big ball like this, just to try to keep my body like as close together as I could. So I only used like half of my sleeping bag last night. But plus side, no frostbite, no hypothermia, just a really uncomfortable night. People, they ask me, how are you able to sleep in your car? Isn't that uncomfortable? Sleeping in my car is significantly more comfortable than what we just did last night. Like, it wasn't that cold when we were doing astro, but it got colder as the night progressed. So things that I need to bring for the next trip: 1, a sweat rag; 2, or like a sweat band, whatever those things are called; and 2, wool socks for my feet. So you guys have never actually watched me put up a tent when there are like other tents around, but one of the reasons I like this one is it is so fast. We're gonna be the first person out of here today. Still massively annoyed at this thing. I'm not sure how much better I would have slept if this was inflated, because my feet would have still been cold, but see, like, look at how much space this thing takes up after it's been quote unquote deflated. I'm getting one that's just air next time. And I was right. We are the first people packed up and ready to go. There's a water fountain over there to get water. That did not do what I thought it would do. It's not like I'm racing the other campers. It's just nice not to need to spend 60 plus minutes setting up and tearing down camp. Fucking look at this. Because it's got that hole, it keeps trying to inflate itself. I can't get it to decompress well enough to fit in my backpack. Okay, she's ready to go. Up there is where I was doing the astrophotography last night. But today we're just continuing on the trail. My watch still has 74% battery. It will be a couple hours before the sun is able to shine on us in this canyon. Yep, that's daunting. This genuinely baffles me. Like, this trail right here does not look like the kind of thing you can drive heavy machinery over. But it got here somehow. God damn it, we're gonna have to climb that. Good morning. Drinking from this is just a weird experience because the water in the tube right now, the part that's exposed to the air, this gets real cold. But the part that's in my backpack that's touching my back, it's warm. So you get like a blast of coldness for like a second or two and then it turns warm. Good morning.
You don't have too much more to go.
That's good to hear.
What, 4 miles?
Something like that, yeah. Slowly getting there. We're closer to the sun now. Yeah, that snow right there. The sun never hits it, so it never melts. Actually, here's a good spot to catch my breath. Dude, this is such a good purchase. Of everything I'm taking away from this trip, water bladders are the shit. I don't know why I never had one before. Good morning.
Hey there. You on your way down or
Up.
back up? You sleep down there?
Huh?
Sleep down there?
Terribly, but yes.
We heard it was actually a little warmer down there than at the top.
Yeah. None of my water froze. That's cool.
Oh, that's good.
It was 18 this morning up top.
My batteries are so cold they're not turning on or charging. Oh, I think they make sure that they mist like this and that they're constantly dripping so that it doesn't freeze. Oh, there goes my oatmeal. Damn oatmeal. The little infographic doesn't do it justice. We climbed up all of this. But I am gonna get down because my legs are not in the best shape. I don't trust them as much as I normally do. I guess the only thing to do is finish this last half. We have 3 miles to go. You can actually see the place where we camped way down there with the big trees. I'm pretty sure that's the garden place. Yeah, I think I needed to stop to rest like once or twice on the way down. I'm stopping often on the way up. We are at a height where the sun can reach us, but because we're walking on this side of the canyon wall, we're probably not going to see the sun until we breach the surface. I just realized basically everything I've eaten on this hike has been oats. Oatmeal, granola bars, which are basically just oats. I guess I had some chicken, but lots of oats. Almost everybody that I've seen walking on the trail doing this, they've been with like a group or with like a partner. I've seen maybe like 4 or 5 people that are doing this by themselves. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming. Hey, we found some of the logs they used to make these steps. You can very clearly see the different layers of rock. That big cliff of white rock. It's the last part, and I think that's going to be the hardest. Like this, it's like a slope. It's like an incline. You can go up there, but that looks like it's straight up. Hello.
Thank you.
Of course. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Fun. Yeah, there's just little bits of gear sprinkled around the trail. Earlier this morning, this height seemed almost impossible to reach. We fucking did it. We are so close to the top. Come on, legs, just a little bit further. It's not my muscles, it's not my breath, it's my joints. They're not accustomed to any of this. I'm sure after a couple of days of healing, I'll be fine. That's it. That's all we need to climb. We only have 1.5 miles left. Well, I guess that answers my question about how we get up the White Rock. There's like a slant right there, and there's just switchbacks all the way up. Yeah, I have to stop basically every one of these switchbacks. So like, go doop stop, doop stop, doop stop. Yeah, I can't go for like more than 6 or 7 minutes at a time now. The walk back up is going to be super hard.
How much is your pack?
25 pounds.
He's 27.
Oh, well, mine doesn't go. Blah, 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 blah.
And he doesn't move around.
Yeah.
How far did you go?
All the way down. I can see the trees on the top. God, falling would suck. I will say, I'm grateful we've been in the shade for the whole hike. This morning when we first woke up, it was freezing, but hiking up, I would be pouring sweat if the sun was on us right now. This is okay. Well, every time I stop to rest, it means you guys get a scenic view. That little cliff down there, that's where we had oatmeal for breakfast. And it feels closer than it should, given that it's taken us so long to get here. I want to see it like way over there, but no. And our campground is actually just down there. You can see the sun is barely starting to touch the trees. Sitting over the edge like this makes me worried I'm going to drop my camera with my cold, inoperable fingers. We're getting closer to the top. Big trees. I can hear people up there. That must be like one of the vantage points to look over. We're still gonna go whoop, and then it switches back, and then whoop. 2 more legs. That stupid joke. This is the opposite of mountain climbing. You're just walking into a hole. We've made it to the sunlight. And we are out of the sunlight. Yeah, I can't bend my knee. I'm basically walking like I got a peg leg. But that's the surface right there. Or actually, more specifically, that's the surface. I can see the house. I also wish I was able to do some astrophotography from a vantage point like this. Like have half the shot be the Grand Canyon and half the shot be the stars. But before we actually crest the top right there, I want to give my thoughts. You don't need a permit if you want to hike this path and you want to see all of the things that I saw. The only thing that you need a permit for is camping. When I first got the permit to be able to camp here, I thought it would be extraordinary. I thought we'd be camping on like ledges like this. I thought it'd be wild camping. The campsite itself is pretty standardized. They've got water, sewage. It's just like any other campground. You pay 15 bucks for it. You can do all of the hiking without a permit. You can go down to like all of these spots and see the things and hike back up without needing to camp for the night. If you are adamant that you want to go all the way down to the Colorado River, then you probably do need to camp because this is fucking exhausting trying to do down and up in one day. Yeah, you guys saw the picture of the guy heaving. So if you guys want the sights, just hike down one of the trails. If you guys want to go the distance, that's the only time I would recommend actually getting it. Oh, what is that? I'm surprised he's as close to humans because the center's right up there. Ladies and gentlemen, we made it. We fucking made it. I've heard of people that want to climb Mount Everest as being called adrenaline junkies, and I think that's wrong. There's no adrenaline in this. It's just pure masochism in car. Oh, there's a little goat. God, you keep distracting me when I'm in the middle of my sentences. No, mountain climbing is not adrenaline sport. Mountain climbing is just masochism. The place that we came up from just now is called Bright Angel Trail, and the place we went down is called South Kebab. Yeah, and I just want to point out, I did all of that in Walmart shoes. No blisters, no nothing. Oh, God, I smell food. I think there's a restaurant in there. I'm trying to get to the visitor center. Is this? Fantastic, thank you.
Permits, rest, transfer, the red line, straight ahead.
Still at 63%. And like I said, you can park overnight here, so our car should still be here. I saw it when the shuttle was driving up. It was not on fire, so that's good. God, my car is so fucking pretty. There's one thing we need to do before anything else. Grab a Dr. Pepper. I'm also gonna go ahead and grab some food that is not oats. Oh, taking that off feels so great. It's so cold, it's really thick. I'm worried I'm gonna break my plastic knife. I will, God damn it, stick to the fucking bread. This is not working very well. Whatever, it doesn't need to be perfect, I just want something to eat. Then for the time being, I will just put this in the trunk. If it'll fit in the trunk. Oh God, just bending my knee to get in my car fucking sucks. So I was right, the heated seats were left on, they are still on, and there's no fire. So that's a great stress test. I did not sleep very well last night, so I look forward to taking my little sponge bath and then sleeping for a few hours. Yeah, I was up constantly last night. I apologize to the vacuum cleaner that's gonna have to clean all of this red sand out. Yeah, Walmart shoes did fine. They don't have the same traction as hiking boots, but what they lack in traction, I think they more than make up for in weight. So we can spend the night here. But you guys have all seen me sleep in my car before. I want to show you guys how cheap the hotel rooms are when you're in the off season. Because the Grand Canyon is super popular. They get hundreds of thousands of visitors per year. So there's a whole bunch of hotels that are meant to cater to that. But during the off season, the visitors aren't here, but the hotels still are. So they reduce their prices dramatically to try to get the few tourists that do come. I just booked a room for $36 a night. So as much as I want to just lay here and fall asleep, we have a $36 hotel to check into. I've only been laying here for like an hour or two and I feel like my entire body is shutting down. Come on. Like nothing wants to move. Now, the town that we're going to is called Williams, Arizona. It's the town where I printed off my my permit for 25 cents. I actually want to show you guys the town because that's the place with the cheap hotels and it's the place with really cheap gas. You know, I've been saying that this is the off season, but given how many, I guess I also went on a weekday. I imagine even weekends are popular on the off season. Holy shit. Good God. When you're going to visit the Grand Canyon, you're gonna see a lot of places that are selling gas. Don't go to any of them, they're huge ripoffs. I'm gonna show you the place you should go, and I'm gonna show you why you should go there. That Chevron right there, $3.69 a gallon. Remember that, $3.69. This gas station is selling gas for $3.99, so almost $4 a gallon. You don't want to go to any of those. If you're trying to visit the Grand Canyon, you want to go to this gas stop right here. This place is called Love's. It's a truck stop, but they always have the cheapest gas. See, look at this. $3.05 a gallon. That's almost 30% cheaper. This isn't like an Arizona or a Grand Canyon thing. Love's just always has the cheapest gas. What they do is they reduce the price to try to get you in the door. They have like the big sign with the low price, and they try to get you to pay for all of the stuff inside, like the drinks and the food and whatever. We don't do that on this channel. On this channel, we are leeches. We get the cheap gas, we use the restrooms, and we leave. See? And then we just leave. Like when you're doing road trips, you should actually plan your gas around where the Loves are. We are not done with our money saving tips yet because today is Saturday. Saturday is, I'll show you guys when we get there. We are going to a store called Dollar General. I love that this town has both a Love's and a Dollar General. Now, Dollar General is more expensive for most things than other stores like Walmart. So most of the things you purchase, you'll just want to go to Walmart, except one. Dollar General is known for having incredibly cheap soda. What they do is they have like a rotating sale to where 1 week it'll be like really cheap Pepsi, next week it'll be really cheap Coke, then really cheap root beer, whatever. Okay, so for example, it's 3 for $13 and it's Coke. You can get 3 things of Coke for $13. But on Saturdays, they have a promotion where you just get a solid 20% discount on your purchase. So you already have cheap soda and then you just get an additional 20% discount on top of that. It's insane. Obviously, I prefer Dr. Pepper, but at prices like this is like 25 cents a can here at Dollar General. The thing is, you have to buy 3 to be able to get the discount, so you can't just buy a small amount, you have to buy a large amount. You do have to use their app to get part of the deal. It's a good deal, I promise. Lastly, we will go check out the super cheap hotel room that we got, like $36. Coming in November was a great idea. I don't have a sunburn, the heat wasn't too bad, and we get everything super cheap. The road that we're on right now is actually part of old Route 66, so if you want to go on like a Route 66 tour, you'll come through this town. Here we are, Super 8. I feel like I'm ready to collapse. Perfect. We're not quite done yet though. I gotta charge up all my batteries before I forget and fall asleep and then don't wake up until years from now. There we go. Now I'm free to collapse. I believe the next adventure we're going on will either be climbing the Guadalupe Mountains or taking a tour of White Sands National Park. I think you guys will appreciate that.